Rock Island Milan School District has adopted EngageNY as the primary English language arts curriculum resource beginning in the 2016-2017 school year. The new Illinois Learning Standards, also known as Common Core State Standards, drive our district curriculum. This video provides you an overview of the resources Rock Island Milan School District has adopted in grades 3 through 8 to ensure greater student achievement in the areas of English language arts. Beginning in the 2016-2017 school year, EngageNY is the primary resource we have adopted at Rock Island Milan School District 41. The recent research clearly states the positive student achievement results of EngageNY, and this research matches the needs of our Rock Island Milan students. The expectations of the new English language arts standards call for a significant instructional shift. How we taught several years ago must change. We cannot teach the same way and meet the demands of the new standards. Grade level text is a non-negotiable. Students must be given rigorous grade level text daily. EngageNY provides the rigorous texts our students need. A recent research study shows EngageNY is the only full English language arts curricular resource that is well aligned to the new expectation of these standards. The research also shows that EngageNY provides teachers with greater flexibility than any other English language arts curriculum resource. Who created EngageNY? Well, EngageNY was created and is currently maintained by the New York State Education Department. It's aligned to the Common Core State Standards in Illinois, called the New Illinois Learning Standards. Anyone with access to the internet can visit EngageNY and download free, rigorous material from the New York State Education Department, including all available curriculum resources. Additional information about EngageNY is located at the Frequently Asked Question page, noted here on this slide. Although the resources are free through EngageNY, the Rock Island Milan School District is downloading material to ensure we have access to it on a day-to-day basis. Lastly, binders for each module in grades 3 through 8 are being printed and will be provided for each building and each grade level. This means each building will receive one copy of the grade level modules needed to implement EngageNY. With this new curricular resource, when done with fidelity, will ensure to drive the focus on the expectations of the new Illinois Learning Standards and have alignment throughout kindergarten through 12th grade. This video is specific to grades 3 through 8, but as a district we are adopting EngageNY kindergarten through 12th grade. We will have rigorous instruction and we will use grade level texts. These new standards expect a large amount of time spent for students to read both informational and literature texts. This reading has to occur both in the language arts classroom as well as in all other content areas. Educators must collaborate with one another in professional learning communities, also known as PLCs. The 4 questions should always drive all conversation in our PLCs. The 4 questions are as follows. What is it we want students to learn? How will we know when they have learned it? How will we respond when some students do not learn? And how will we respond when some students already know it? With this EngageNY English Language Learner, English Language Arts adoption, EngageNY provides us with the information and details to guide us in our daily instruction, including intervention and extension activities, how to collaborate, and specific decision-making on the teacher's part. In our PLC discussions, what is it we want students to learn? That is the state standards. How will we know when they have learned it? Within EngageNY, assessments, both formative and summative, are to be used. How will we respond when some students do not learn. Within this resource, remediation suggestions and materials are provided. And how will we respond when some students already know it? Within this resource, extension suggestions and materials are also provided. The quarterly curriculum map summaries, or plan on a page or pages, have been developed by your grade level colleagues. Your colleagues use the EngageNY website as the primary resource and provided additional resources, materials, and ideas, including the Literacy Design Collaborative task for each quarter. The Teaching and Learning Department thoroughly reviewed these documents, made any necessary revisions, and have uploaded quarter 1 for your review currently. Other quarters will be uploaded as quarter 1 begins. These plan on a page or pages are not meant to be a detailed scope and sequence. The details for each lesson are found on the EngageNY website. We will get into these details shortly. These curriculum summary plan on a page or pages are simply meant to provide a quarterly summary or snapshot. They can be found by going to the rockislandschools.org website, clicking on Teaching and Learning, hover on Language Arts, hover on ELA Curriculum Map Summaries Quarter 1, and select the grade level of your choice. The purpose of the district-created curriculum map plan on a page or pages, again, is not to be a scope and sequence, but to be a summary of the expectations of EngageNY by quarter. The EngageNY online resources will provide the day-to-day scope and sequence for you to use in daily instruction. Let's spend some time explaining the district-created English Language Arts curriculum map plan on a page. Here is an example of page 1 of the 7th grade plan on a page. On page 1 are provided the module focus, title, and module length. Next are included the specific standards that this module addresses. Notice the standards are from multiple content areas. Lastly, a quick list of possible formative and summative assessments for this particular module are stated. Page 2 of this summary plan on a page or pages is also 7th grade. Here it shows the essential learning outcomes, also known as ELOs, and the essential questions that drive your daily instruction. The central texts linked to this module are listed on this plan on a page, along with other online links to various text resources. A Literacy Design Collaborative task is provided in each grade for each quarter. And lastly, additional resources and differentiation considerations for each module are included. In grade 7, last is page 3. You'll see at the top a continuation of the unit links and extensions provided on page 2, finishing with additional resources and materials, and the targeted academic vocabulary for this module specifically. Let's look at each plan on a page more closely. Page 1. At the top of page 1 are listed the module focus, the module title, and the module length. The next section details the standards of this module. The standards cross over multiple content areas. It is important that these resources be used with fidelity so cross-curricular connections are in fact made. The third section on page 1 lists examples of the types of both formative and summative assessments for this particular module. Formative assessments are those an educator uses to inform further instruction needs. The focus is on measuring the student's development at that given time. Summative assessments are those used to evaluate a student performance at the conclusion of a defined instructional unit. The focus in summative assessments is on measuring what the student in fact learned. Next are the essential learning outcomes and essential questions specific to this module. The essential learning outcomes, sometimes called objectives and referred to as ELOs, are the essential skills needed for students to achieve the demonstrated learning. The essential questions are questions that probe for deeper meaning and set the stage for further questioning. Essential questions help foster critical thinking skills and higher order capabilities such as problem solving and understanding complex information. In the middle of the second page shows the specific texts for this module. The central texts are shown in two areas. One, an extended text. In this example, A Long Walk to Water by Linda Sue Park, and the short texts associated with this specific module. The Rock Island Milan School District has purchased the extended text for each module. The short texts are not purchased, but are available via a link on the online resource. In every EngageNY grade level, we have added an accompanying Literacy Design Collaborative task known as LDC. You will not find this LDC task on EngageNY. This is an area the district has chosen to supplement. Each identified LDC task directly relates to the grade level theme. You will see here in this example for 7th grade that the LDC tasks begins with a question. How do individuals survive in challenging environments? The LDC task continues on to explain what students will do to complete this task. The area in red on this page are the unit links and extension resources. The unit links or extensions provide additional student resources to assist in further learning. This area also includes additional teacher resources to use to extend the learning in this module. Note that field trips might be an extension for the learning. Next is the area entitled Differentiation Considerations. In this section are ways to differentiate for the varied learning styles and ability levels of your students. Please collaborate with your colleagues who teach gifted and talented education, special education, title services, or English language learner services to ensure you are meeting the needs of the students in your classroom. Again, here shows a continuation of the unit links and extension opportunities provided within this specific module. The additional resources or materials section provides the teacher with further ideas on texts to use to further student learning and understanding. This area will continue to be expanded as we move on our journey in the cultural competence as a district. The targeted academic vocabulary section provides a list of specific words that are the focus in this module. Academic vocabulary is a focus throughout the new Illinois Learning Standards and is to be a daily instructional focus in EngageNY. To find the full EngageNY file for any grade level, use the following online webpage, www.engageny.org. Click on the specific grade level underneath English Language Arts. You can also go directly to the noted areas on this slide. This slide shows the specific links for 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade. This slide adds in 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. Diving into the EngageNY resources is what we're doing now. First, you will want to ensure that you are on the right grade level. That is noted here. Next, you will find the Curriculum Maps section on the left-hand side of the screen. By clicking on these links, you find all materials needed for this specific module. The T&L department will be providing one copy of each module for each grade level at each building. These will arrive in individual module binders and are to be housed in a common location for all teachers to access. These modules are extremely lengthy. Most are between 200 to over 600 pages in length. We strongly encourage you not to print the full module, but to use the school-created module binders to print specific pages as needed. Located in the center of the screen here are additional materials that go along with this specific module. In this area are the grade 7 curriculum map, as well as the grade below and the grade above. Appendices are provided, and scaffolding instructions to meet the needs of your students are also provided. The specific modules are located on the left side of the web page. After clicking on the specific module, a full description of the module appears. This summary is important and worth the quick read. The summary provides you with the information you need to focus on the specific areas within this module. At the bottom of the web page are provided downloadable materials directly related to this specific module. You are able to access a PDF version of the full module, individual units, a zip folder with all resources, or read through the updates provided on a regular basis. Most recently, this specific EngageNY module for 7th grade was updated in June of 2015. By clicking on the downloadable resource for the updates, you will see all changes made during that updated cycle. Once in the specific module, you are able to find detailed information and resources for the individual units within the identified module. The description for Unit 1 within Module 1 for 7th grade explores the following question: how do culture, time, and place influence the development of identity? In this unit, students will read the first 5 chapters of a selected novel. The district has provided this novel to teachers and students. Please check with your building principal to pick up your teacher copy. The description of the unit continues to provide a summary of the full unit, both what teachers will instruct and what students will learn. At the bottom, you are able to download resources specific to this unit. Each module has multiple units. As you can see, this module has multiple units, and underneath each unit are specific daily lessons. Let's jump into the lessons. Again, you'll make sure you're on the grade level you're choosing to analyze. You'll see within each lesson is a summary provided to explain the specifics of this lesson, and downloadable resources tied to this individual lesson are located on each lesson page. The lessons again are located over here, and you're able to click on any lesson to get any full resource you would like. You are expected to stay to the pacing of EngageNY. At this time, we do not have a pacing calendar for grades 3 through 8, but it is in the works. Lessons tend to be based on a 40 to 45-minute block. You will need to adjust your instruction accordingly. Perhaps you move on if you have an extended period of time. As a review, for each module are included individual units and individual lessons. Lastly, within the lessons are included supporting materials for students. Let's dive into the resources you'll find on EngageNY. The first page of the module provides an overview of the full module. The example here shows an 8-week module. At the top of the page is the summary. The specific standards addressed in each module are noted at the end of this summary section. Next are the guiding questions and big ideas of the module. These relate directly to the essential learning outcomes and essential questions on the curriculum map summary plan on a page or pages. Next is information on the performance task. Each module provides a performance task for students to complete. In some modules, this performance task matches the Literacy Design Collaborative task on the plan on a page. In this area, the specific standards linked to the performance task are also noted. Next are the content connections. It is in this section where you will make cross-curricular connections. This section focuses on the standards addressed in this module as well as the long-term learning targets for students. These long-term learning targets are written in I can statements. These would be excellent statements for students to progress monitor their own learning. This example shows the standards and I can statements for the literature standards. Here are the informational standards and related long-term learning target or I can statements. Next are the writing standards and the related long-term learning targets or I can statements. Note that within each strand there may be multiple pages. In this video, you are seeing one example from each strand. Next are the speaking and listening standards and related long-term learning targets or I can statements. And finally, the language standards and related long-term learning targets or I can statements. Again, remember that each strand may have more than one page. Central texts are key to each module. These central texts are grade-level material. The district has purchased the main central text for both teachers and students. In this module, the purchased text is A Long Walk to Water. The purchased material includes resources for teachers and students in the General Education Program, Title I Program, Special Education Program, English Learners Program, and Gifted and Talented. Students are to return the text when the module is done. All other texts are available online through the EngageNY resource and are used throughout the module. These texts are to be used on the interactive whiteboard or overhead and printed as needed. Next in the module are weeks at a glance. I am providing one of the module examples here. This shows weeks 1 through 3 at a quick glance. You see the unit title at the top, along with the instructional focus for each week. Next are the long-term targets and the module-specific assessments that align to this week 1, 2, or 3. Multiple pages are included in the module for the week at a glance. Here we are simply showing one example. Now that you've seen a summary of the module, let's dive into specific areas. Let's start with assessment. After the week at a glance sheets are the module assessment summaries. The assessments are noted on the left side of this document with a description about each assessment on the right side. In this example, you see a performance task, mid-Unit 1 assessment, and end of Unit 1 assessment. Next, you see mid-Unit 2 assessment, end of Unit 2 assessment, mid-Unit 3 assessment, and end of Unit 3 assessment. On the right of each of those assessments provides more details about that specific assessment. It is important to conduct these assessments to truly measure student performance, so the results can inform your daily instruction and give you the accurate data needed to report out current levels to students and parents at the end of each quarter or trimester. Next are details on the performance task. Remember, sometimes the performance task may also be the grade level Literacy Design Collaborative task. This is not always the case, but double-check the quarterly plan on a page for clarification. In the details of the performance task include the following: summary of the task, the format of the task, such as what the students are expected to do in this specific task, and the standards being assessed on this performance task. The resources and links needed to complete this performance task are listed next. The central texts and informational texts associated are then listed. Next are the student-friendly writing invitation or task description. An example, the details and directions that you would give to students for this performance task. Lastly, on this page are the key criteria for success, i.e., what students need to include and what they will be graded on in this performance task. Lastly are the options for students and the options for teachers. These give students additional direction on options within this performance task, i.e., students may have a partner to read the second voice as they present their poems. That's an option provided to students in this performance task. The teacher options provide guidance for the educator in how they set up the outcomes for the performance task. For example, students may present their poems to their own class, to other classes, or to parents or other adults. The next section of this module is the recommended texts section. This section provides additional text options that teachers can use to enhance the module. The texts listed here are not purchased by the district. Next are the materials that can be used for independent student reading to help build content knowledge about the specific topic. Again, these are not purchased by the district. This section ends the module overview summary of the performance task. Now we'll move on to the unit review. As a reminder, each module is separate. Within each module are various units, and within each unit are daily lessons. Let's dive a bit deeper into the unit specifics of this Module 1 example. Just as the module summary was given at the start of each module, the unit summary is also given at the start of each unit. The guiding questions and big ideas are given for this specific unit. Again, these relate to the plan on a page documents under essential learning objectives or outcomes and essential questions. Just as with the assessment overview, within each unit are provided specific assessments. Each unit will have a mid and an end of unit assessment. This document shows Unit 1 mid and Unit 1 end assessment. Within each unit, the content connections are provided. Remember, these are important to include so cross-curricular instruction occurs. You see in this example that although this is an English Language Arts unit, social studies standards are heavily addressed as well. Remember, central texts are key to each module. The central texts must be grade level material. In the module overview, you are provided with a week at a glance. In the unit overview, you're provided with a unit at a glance. This unit, as shown here, shows the individual lessons included in this unit. Along with the individual lesson numbers are included the lesson titles, the long-term targets, supporting targets, and the ongoing assessments tied to each lesson. Each unit at a glance may be several pages. Please make sure you look at each page within the unit at a glance. Next, in the unit overview information, are the areas that are optional for teachers or for students. This area gives you additional ideas to enhance the unit. Some of these options in this unit are to bring in experts, conduct a service project, collaborate with the social studies teachers, or connect with the science teachers on another project. Lastly are included the details for preparation and materials in this unit. In this unit, students collaborate with peers. Teachers will need to arrange for specific seating charts on certain days. This area gives the teacher hints, ideas, and reminders about the unit. Within each lesson are provided the following: long-term targets, written as student I can statements, supporting learning targets, also written as I can statements, a list of ongoing assessments to be used within the lesson, and the agenda for the lesson and teaching notes specific to the lesson itself. In this area, the teacher's notes provide the educator with the purpose of the lesson, some hints, ideas, or suggestions to teach this lesson. So as a reminder, each module has various units, and within each unit are various lessons. This page begins our dive into the details of each lesson. Within each lesson is targeted vocabulary. The lesson vocabulary is shown on the left side with an itemized list of materials the teacher will need to teach this lesson. This area allows the teacher to ensure they are prepared for the daily lesson. The lesson documents you should print as you prepare each lesson so you have the details needed to be successful. Again, we strongly recommend not printing the full module. Utilize the individual school binders that are provided to you for each module. Each lesson provides you with an opening. This opening section gives you specific time frames for instruction. To the left of the opening section are details on how to adjust your instruction to meet the differing needs of students. In addition to the Meeting Students' Needs section, teachers in general education, title, special education, English learners, or the gifted and talented program should be continually collaborating to ensure proper supports are given to all students. After the opening section is a work time section. This area details out what teachers are to do during student individual, small group, partner work, etc. An example: teachers distribute the I Notice, I Wonder note catcher to each student. Just as with the opening, the right section details ideas and suggestions for meeting the various needs of students. Last in the lesson section is the closing and assessment, along with the homework noted area. Just as with the opening and the work time section, the closing and assessment section guides the teacher in closing out the lesson. If homework is expected, it is listed at the bottom. Ideas and suggestions on meeting the varying needs of students is again listed in the Meeting Students' Needs section. At the end of each lesson are provided supporting materials for students. These supporting materials go along with each lesson and are student-directed materials. Let's take a look at some examples from Module 1. Here is an example of a discussion scenario you would provide to students in one of your lessons. Next is an example of a supporting material for vocabulary development. A FIST to 5 chart is a way to assess student learning and is provided in the supporting materials area. Here is an example of a way to assist students in taking notes throughout the lesson. Next is a filled-in example of the supporting material provided for student note-taking. And here is an example of a sentence starter for students to think, pair, and share with one another. Lastly is an example of what students could use to take notes on the novel that they are reading. This example concludes the details on the module, unit, lesson, and supporting material specifics. An area we know we will need to supplement is the area of writing. All teachers will need to supplement to include daily opportunities for students to write. Please ensure you refer to the priority standards to ensure you are incorporating all types of writing. Please use the Literacy Design Collaborative writing rubrics the district has adopted. These are located on the Teaching and Learning website under Curriculum, Language Arts, Writing Rubrics. Again, all teachers are to use the Rock Island Milan School District writing rubrics based off of the Literacy Design Collaborative. These rubrics have been available since 2013 and are located on the Teaching and Learning website. Again, this visual shows you how to get to those resources. Here is a specific example of one of the LDC writing rubrics. This rubric is the example for grades 6, 7, and 8 in the area of argumentative writing. All right. You've been very focused. It's time to take a breath. Please take a moment and step back in reflection of EngageNY. This English Language Arts primary curriculum resource is planned out for you. There is no need to dig through other material. In fact, there is not time to bring in other material outside of enhancing writing. This EngageNY resource is taking the research work off of your plate. The scope and sequence is planned out for you, and the resources are provided. Rather than spend your time on various other websites and looking on other resources for materials, spend your time really digging into the EngageNY website. Print out the quarterly map summaries located on the Teaching and Learning webpage that give you a snapshot of what the quarter looks like. Please remember, it is important to not print out the full module. Each module in grade 3 through 8 could range from nearly 200 pages to over 600 pages. Binders will be created for each grade level at each school and sent directly to the school building. Use these binders to print as needed. We recommend you rewatch this video as many times as needed. Again, please don't spend your time looking for other resources or materials. Spend your time really digging in and focusing on EngageNY. Speak with your colleagues, both during the summer and throughout the school year in your professional learning communities and other work. Read the research on EngageNY. It has proven positive effects for student achievement. In addition to the www.engageny.org website, additional resources are located at the website listed here. Finally, take a break from the material every once in a while. Dive in, enjoy, and look forward to an enhanced, successful year in teaching English Language Arts. We are excited to have adopted EngageNY as our primary English Language Arts curriculum resource. We will be providing future Rock Island College sessions as the school year begins, as well as offering optional grade-level department PLC sessions to brainstorm, share thoughts, answer questions, etc. We encourage you to collaborate with your colleagues as we implement EngageNY this coming school year. Thank you for your commitment to higher levels of student success throughout the Rock Island Milan School District. As a reminder, resources are available now and will continue to be available on the Teaching and Learning website. Remember, we are in this together and here to support one another as we move forward with this new English Language Arts implementation. Now go get them. Celebrate this new engaging resource. Team with your colleagues. You can do it. You make a difference.